Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. This is my final live stream today. I did 4. Man. Okay. So, y'all, I am going to talk about what they label natives, which we now know they are not natives in this land. When they came across the Barren Straits, people were already here. And I can tell you those people were very melanated. In fact, I looked at a video today. It was real interesting. It said these are pictures that were hidden about the true natives of the land. And let me tell you, every single picture was melanated people. They were not anything else. So Turtle Island was very melanated, woolly haired and melanated. Okay. And we know they've been hiding this mess. And, they think we don't know. And they have a fear of us finding out, but they're not very good at hiding things. They just think they are, that type of thing. So, yeah, it's been busy. It's been busy. I still got to get the orders together tonight. If you want to order, as long as you get it in before midnight, it will go out tomorrow. So you still have time if you're interested in purchasing something. All right. So we're going to talk about this. They are complaining because they're saying they're being harassed by wants these people out of here. He wants them off of these reservations and out of this country because he said they falsified who they are. And it's not just them. This government took part in labeling these people as natives. They didn't really take it upon themselves to do it. This government had a lot to do with it too. It is taking the identity away from us and putting it on others. They've been doing this forever now, since they've been in the land. So I want you to hear what some of them have to say and what some of our people have to say. Let me share my screen and we'll get started. Give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
But what I know and what I've heard and just what I've seen is that the GOV is trying to say that birthright citizenships of Native Americans isn't a real thing. That we were not here, and so it's not our right just to be a citizen of America because, pause, now I'm hearing because we actually came from Siberia and we weren't always here. So that's what I'm getting at is that there's a lot of different places I've heard in right now up north, people's reservations are getting split in half and some are being sent to Canada. How is that possible? I don't really know. The Siberia thing, I don't know. I'm just reading comments and this is what everyone's saying is we weren't from here. We're not the first ones here. Okay, I wasn't here years and years and years ago, so I can't really tell you, but from, I don't know, just history in itself, I don't know where the hell we're all going to go. So be it. I mean, turn up in Siberia, I guess. All my natives are just going to meet me there. We're going to have a big old party in 49, It's probably what we're going to do.
So you mean to tell me that you got so-called Native Americans who are sitting around complaining, talking about their relatives are being deported and they are being misidentified and that they are scared and need to travel around with their tribal IDs with them? And they also said that it's not them, these are their cousins that's being deported. Now I got a question. Foundation of Black Americans and Foundation of Black Americans alone. If you ain't a Foundation of Black Americans, this question is not for you. Foundation of Black Americans and Foundation of Black Americans alone. Do Any of y'all got a cousin that could be deported? Any of y'all? Any? I don't speak too fast. Do any of y'all got a cousin that could be deported? Also, correct me if I'm wrong. How can they mistake you or somebody? This reminds me of that Jesus story. When I was little, this is how I knew Christianity was When I was little and I heard that story of Jesus escaping to Egypt, how the hell can you escape and blend in somewhere if none of the people look like you? Didn't make no sense. However, he could run to somewhere and blend in if all the people look like him. And also, riddle me this. I seen a comment saying, it'll reach a point to where tribal IDs will not matter no more. History always repeats itself with a broken heart. So I'm guessing that's a Native American that left that comment. But I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm smoking and thinking, I'm sipping and thinking. What did you mean by that? Because history repeating itself for us is still here. Bad or good, no matter which part of history you want to pull. You want to pull our creations, you want to pull out slavery, you want to pull out the way they enslaved us on our own plantation, you want to pull out anything, it's all here. What do you mean by history will repeat itself and your tribal IDs will not matter no more? It's almost like you trying to say, and I'm just trying to put two and two together because that comment, it was equaling 5. Because it's almost like you're saying that you made a deal with somebody that has crossed you before, and you're at risk of them crossing you again. But I don't know.
Why is my people so in a frenzy about the Native Americans being detained and deported? Help it make sense. I mean, just make it make sense. Our government don't need them anymore. Their purpose has been served. They living on federal subsidized land, not paying taxes, and they getting money from our government. And they not even the original people of this land. They are from Siberia. They came onto our land and they befriended and betrayed our people, sided with the Spaniards, helped conquer our land and enslave our people. And when we was freed from slavery, they were the last ones to free their slaves. They didn't even want to free us. And see, our government knows who the true indigenous people of this land is. And when our people become known as the true indigenous people of this land, all those taxes that our ancestors them paid and that we done paid, they got to get it back to us. So basically, fuck a reparation, we want restoration. Time for a change. Educate yourself. Knowledge is key. Know who you are, know self. Continue to grow and stay woke. And I have a nice day.
Trump is showing no discrimination even towards Native American Indians. So if you look right here, you will see raising race. So I'll zoom in on this so you can see it. But this headline, NBC News, by the way, we know that's an accurate news source. NBC News says Trump immigration raids snag U.S. citizens, including Native Americans, raising racial profiling fears. We know that's accurate, right? So
as y'all know, and for those who don't know, the Native American people are currently being deported. And now you may be wondering, how can you deport somebody who's native to this land, who's indigenous to this land? And I got one simple answer for you. They're not. See, the Gov paid and brought them over here to cosplay as the actual indigenous people. And I know a lot of y'all aren't going to want to hear this, but the actual indigenous people are Black people. And let me be clear, Black Americans. Black Americans. And technically, we shouldn't even refer to ourselves as that for legal reasons. But for the sake of this video, and that's what most people are familiar with, that's what we'll go with. And before all y'all get in the comments talking about what's your source, oh, you're just yapping. My genealogy is my source. Just looking at my genealogy debunks the whole Atlantic slave trade. So let's start there. And so they migrated over here to cosplay as us. And this can give some context as to why Black people have been reclassified so many times. There are so many different names for Black people if you look throughout history. And this is why. Because if I don't teach you who you are, if you don't know who you are, well, then I can put somebody else in your place to cosplay as you. So you don't reap the benefits of your shit. And so therefore I can take your stuff and put a patent on it. And, you know, yeah. Those people that y'all think are Native American, or those people that pop up in your mind when you hear the term Native American, are actually Siberians. They come from Asia. They come from the East. So, and we know how our government gets down. You know, I use you for whatever agenda, for whatever plan I have in store. And then once I don't need you anymore, I kick you to the curb. That's all that's taking place.
ICE has started detaining Native Americans during their immigration sweeps, and because immigrants are not getting due process, they will be deported. So far, there are reports of this happening in both Arizona and New Mexico. And the majority of those detained have been from the Navajo tribe. But as the immigration deportation efforts continue to expand to other states, such as California, this will happen more often and affect more Native American tribes. Without due process, they are unable to verify that they are in fact citizens of the United States and will therefore be deported from the United States. Where they will be deported to, who knows? But it's very clear that under the Trump regime, his goal is to create a white Christian ethno-state and remove anybody who does not fit that description. The Native Americans were here first. America's a melting pot of different cultures, races, and religions. And the fact that MAGA claims that they are so American and patriotic is a fucking joke. This is one of the most un-American things to happen in modern American history.
We have some big news right now. NBC News has confirmed that as part of Donald Trump's mass deportation raids, ICE agents have snagged American citizens along with Native Americans, and racial profiling fears are growing because of it. According to NBC News, the Navajo Nation office has been flooded with calls from tribal members living off reservation, with many saying that they have been questioned as part of ICE raids. Navajo Nation citizens are American citizens. And the Navajo president has even confirmed that there have been negative and sometimes traumatizing encounters between ICE and Navajo Nation citizens. Newark, a U.S. military veteran who's an American citizen, was detained for a period of time because of an ICE raid. In New York, a warehouse manager who's a U.S. citizen has been detained for a period of time. With more raids to come, this will likely only increase. If you're watching this video and you are fearful, carry your identification with you and go to the ACLU's website to learn more about what you can do if an ICE agent does approach you and you are a U.S. citizen, for example. As always, comment below your thoughts, spread the word, and follow along on here and on my other social platforms linked in my bio.
Okay, y'all. So what's happening now is a lot of the reservations, people are splitting now. And quite a few of them are now running into Canada because Canada is not doing this, all this deportation stuff. So a lot of the people from these reservations are going into Canada so that they don't get deported. Donald Trump wants to send these people back to Siberia. That's where he wants to send them. And I think that ultimately the majority of them are going to go into Canada. They're not going to just be a sitting duck. They're just going to forget trying to fight this government because they're not going to be able to fight it. Donald Trump wants them out of here. They're not going to be able to fight the government. So ultimately, they'll just run into Canada where they're not going to be hassled. That's what I think they will do. And they're already doing this right now. So they're aware. You know, I think many of them know exactly that they come out of Siberia, you know, because there are some videos of them talking about it. I just couldn't get those videos because they had music playing in the background. But many of them know they originated out of Siberia and not here, which goes to show you that since Trump has been in office, he has studied this stuff. He knows. That's why he knows the 14th Amendment applies to us. And I always thought it was odd that we got citizenship long before these alleged natives. They didn't get it until 1924. And it never made sense to why we got it before them and they were so-called natives. Now it makes sense. I think even back then they knew that they were not real natives because they took their time giving them citizenship. Remember, it was still the 1800s when we got ours. They didn't get theirs until 1924. That says a lot right there, you know? And like the one woman said, they got cousins that are being deported. Well, then that tells me you couldn't possibly be native. I mean, look, we know our families aren't going to get deported. So that says a lot right there. Siberia. Donald Trump wants to send them to Siberia, where they came out of. That's where he wants them to go. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, you're right. They got all kinds of reparations multiple times, not just one time. They got reparations multiple times. And they got their own land, which are the reservations. They have done a crappy job in taking care of the reservation. Even if it was crappy, they could have made something decent out of those reservations if they wanted to, and they didn't. They just sit there and they live in them houses that look like raggedy shacks. I don't know if any of you have ever viewed some pictures from those reservations. Those houses are shacks. And it looks like they haven't improved the land since they've been in it. So that's where it stands right now. I think many of them are going to be gone before they have the opportunity to deport them. But they are complaining that ICE keeps harassing them. That's what they keep complaining about. Mhm. So if their cousins are being deported, so what? Are y'all got some connection with the Latinos or something? Because that's what I'm starting to think. So then you really couldn't be real. Mhm. Boy, this place is a trip. They did everything to confuse people so that you would never know who the real true owners of this land are. That's what they did. They just did all this confusion, hoping that nobody will ever figure out who the original owners of the land are. And I knew it had to be us because look at how many times we have been reclassified multiple times. And no other group has been reclassified like we have been. It says a lot. It says a lot. Mhm. If anything, they need to get their money back. They need to get a refund. You gave money to people that never really deserved it. They didn't deserve that money. Oh, yeah, I saw when I was shocked when I started seeing pictures that came out of those reservations. Those people will live in squalor. They really will, and they have all this time, and I was like, "Well, that doesn't make sense. Y'all got reparations multiple times, you got the casinos, you got all this money given to you. You could have fixed that land up 1,000 times over by now. They could have done a lot with that land, and they have failed to do it." Mhm. So, I mean, that's on them. They squandered their time. That's on them. Mhm. And plus they're big adversaries of ours too. If you go out on TikTok, they don't do nothing but fight with us. And I was like, "Mm-mm, those are not our people." This it takes me back to that chart where they got Native American on the chart. If these folks are Siberian, they originally come out of Siberia, then that's a Gentile that you done put on the chart, on that Hebrew chart. You put Gentiles on there. No, those are not our people. You put Gentiles on the damn chart. And they're still using that chart, by the way, y'all. They're still using it. And they're saying these natives are people, and the natives are over there talking about they gonna sue Black Americans if you go on TikTok, you'll see the videos. They're going to sue Black Americans for claiming we are indigenous. They're going to sue us. Does that sound like your brethren? I'm serious. Does that sound like your brethren? They're no brother of mine. That's why I said they put Gentiles on the chart. How is that going to go over with the Most High? You have been pushing that chart and listing Gentiles and saying there are people. Mhm. Yeah, well, I don't care what they do. All I know is if they take it to court, then they're going to be forced to reveal who they really truly are, right? That's going to make them, they're going to have to prove in court how they are indigenous to the land. They're going to have to prove it. So let them go to court and prove it. Good. Then maybe we can get this thing resolved once and for all. That's the way I see it. Well, I tell you what, they got a deep hatred for us. If you go over there, everybody does. If you go on TikTok, every damn group over there is fighting with us. Every single one. hmm I mean, it's unreal. But I'm kind of glad that the Most High is showing us. These are not your people. They don't like you, and they're not like you. And none of them, if you notice, none of them are cleaving. None of them, even these natives, they're not cleaving. They're not. None of these groups are. So the ones that do, it's going to be very few. I can see that the Gentiles going into the kingdom, it's going to be very small because we don't see any of them stepping up and trying to cleave to us yet. We don't see it. We see them trying to fight with us and complain about us, but they're not cleaving. And that says a lot. Yeah, well, a lot of the Latinos try to say they're indigenous. And now many of them are trying to lie and say they were in the land when slavery was going on, and that's a lie. They were not in the land. They were not in the land, but they're now trying to lie and say they were. That's why they were complaining when the movie Sinners came out, and they were like, "Well, where's the Latinos?" There were no Latinos in the land back then. Y'all might have been out west, but over here on the East Coast and the Southeast, y'all weren't here. You were not here. You might have been in places like California, Arizona, places like that, but you were not. When you go look at the census, there were no Mexicans over here on the East Coast and in the Southeast. They were not here. They were not here. And they're not in the census at all. But I find it hard to believe that these folks are Israelites and they can't even stand the melanated people that are really Israelites. But that you're gonna maybe you should explain that. I mean, I know that we have our differences, but their hatred is right up there with the Latino. Seriously, I would say it's equivalent to their hatred for us, these natives. Well, Siberians. Siberians. Mhm. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. This is my final live stream for today. I am looking at a couple of stories that I might do tomorrow, but I'm still looking. But no, our people, by the way, I want to make a correction, did not bomb Iran. Iran made a statement. I think somebody did not understand what they were reading. Iran made a statement that they were ready if Israel ever tried to attack them again, they're ready. That's all I saw that came out in the news over the last few days. Them making that statement. That's it. So, y'all, on that note, please enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow. Shalom, family.